Ezekiel Elliott, the 24-year-old running back for the Dallas Cowboys, has definitely shown or proved that he has what it takes to become an elite back in the NFL. I think at the pace that he's running, and like just seeing what the Cowboys can do in the near future, I think a Hall of Fame future is very possible with Ezekiel Elliott. How you guys doing? It is July 10th, 2020. Here in this quarantine, I'm James Sims, and this installment of the Elite, I'm just gonna do a little piece, talk about Ezekiel Elliott, the young running back who is playing probably the most watched position on America's most watched team. So that's kind of what he is. But I'll just give you a little bit of background for who this guy is. From the Midwest, coming out of Illinois, Missouri. He was a top prospect where he would go play at Ohio State after being a top level like track athlete, doing like an elite track runner, but he decided to play football at Ohio State as a true freshman. He only ran for about 300 yards. His second year as a sophomore, he would go on to get 1,878 yards rushing, 2,000 total from scrimmage, with 18 rushing touchdowns. As Ohio State would go on and win the national championship. First, they beat the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Sugar Bowl, the semifinal. And then they went on to beat Mariota in the Ducks in the national championship as they finished 14-1 after a very dominant season and Urban Meyer's only championship in Ohio State as the coach. And Ezekiel Elliott was the running back, and he played all those games, and he put the team on his back for that season. That season he was incredibly elite. And Ezekiel Elliott at least established himself as a college great. And like they won that national championship that year and put him on the national radar. The next year he would go as a junior, he would have 1,821 yards on the ground. And he would finish with 23 touchdowns in 2 less games than the year before. So of course Ezekiel Elliott was ready to go to the pros. And by the time he was gonna get drafted, like in this year, they beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl, and they finished pretty high up. But I don't know if they won. No, they didn't win the national championship that year because they didn't qualify for. That's right, because they didn't qualify for the top 4. I remember that now. No, but after that year, Ezekiel Elliott decided to take his talents to the league. In the 2016 draft, he was taken 4th overall by the Dallas Cowboys. And knowing, if you kind of follow the NFL draft, you know that teams don't pick running backs that high up. Usually they feel like they can just pick a running back in like the 2nd or 3rd round. Either way, it'll still be a good running back. But no, the Cowboys risked it all, and they bet on their offensive line, and they decided to get Ezekiel Elliott, and that would be one of the choices that they would come to love. They picked the Big Ten MVP, put him behind that offensive line, and then he was an elite young player. I mean, his first year in the NFL, he led the league in rushing yards, and he was that was the only year he was a first year All Pro. He was 3-time Pro Bowler, but in his first year, he had all 1,631 yards and 3,322 rushes. He led the league in rushes and he led it in yards, but he still led the league in carries in his first year in the league at 21 years old. I think that's enough to establish a player as elite, even if it is behind the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. Like, he still has to run and pick up those yards, and he did it. His second year, he would only play 10 games. He would get 1,200 yards total from scrimmage, 9 touchdowns. He averaged the most yards per game out of all running backs that played that year, though. 2018, his second full season, he led the league in rushes and carries yet again. And he led the league in touches, and this is the only season he had over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. He had 2,001 exactly. No, this kid was elite. This was the 3rd time he was a Pro Bowler the second time he was a Pro Bowler at 23 in his second full season. And then in his 3rd season as playing a full season, he was named to his 3rd Pro Bowl, getting a total of 1,777 yards from the field, 14 touchdowns from scrimmage. but yeah, well, he was showing up for the Cowboys when they needed him. In the year that he wasn't playing, they weren't as good. But in the seasons that he's played from 2016 to 2019, they basically finished with, at worst, an 8-8 record, which was this past year. But they went 13-3 his first season when he led the league in rushing. Second season where he didn't play, they went 9-7. Third season he played, like they went 10-6, beat the Seahawks in the wild card and lost to the Rams in the divisional playoffs. So it's like that's the situation that he's currently in now. He's definitely a young player who has a few more Hall of Fame seasons left in him. And this is a player who's definitely on track to being a Hall of Famer. And the fact that he's on the Cowboys, he's on the NFL's most watched team. No, I think even with that, put all of that together, and I think that Ezekiel Elliott has a really good shot of making the Hall. The only thing that could really hurt him are probably his injury chances, but he's a very strong runner of the football. He's very smart. He doesn't get enough credit for how smart he is. He's an amazing blocker. If you put him in this offense along Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, that Cowboys offensive line, and with their defense, which is very underrated, by the way, the Cowboys could sneak into the Super Bowl. Like, they have a very, very strong team, and the only player I would consider really elite on this roster is Ezekiel Elliott. Because without Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys don't win. As good as Dak Prescott is, the team goes as Zeke goes. If Zeke can't run, the Cowboys can't win. I think that's very true. At least they can't win the championship if he's not running right. But in the 3 full seasons that he's played, he's been a Pro Bowler. Not many running backs can say that. Like I said, he's definitely on pace to be a Hall of Famer. So this is definitely a young player who's like, if you ever get a chance to watch the Cowboys, and they're the Cowboys, they're on TV a lot. You ever get a chance to watch him play in the regular season or even in the playoffs, watch Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott will pick up yards for your team. He will do whatever it takes to get his team across the finish line. He did it at Ohio State, and he's doing it with the team that he has in Dallas. But we'll see how it works out for him in the long run. But he's a player that I definitely want to bet on, and I will definitely tune in to watch, because there are very few players that are on this trajectory to be a Hall of Famer. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna enjoy every single season that Ezekiel Elliott puts out. He may be a fool, but he's a really good football player. So with that, I'm gonna thank you for listening, and just listen to my other ones. I appreciate it. I wish you the best, and peace.